friends, welcome to my channel, Relocate with Kaya. I'm Kaya. I provide online support for individuals, families, and employees moving abroad by providing them with relocation country-specific resources. On my channel, I discuss and share my own personal journey of moving from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania to Johannesburg, South Africa with my husband Rich and our beautiful daughter Nina. So, you have decided that you're definitely going to move abroad. You're going to take the leap and do it. You have decided the country that you're going to move abroad to, and you've taken multiple scouting trips. Now you have to figure out the actual logistics of moving abroad. So here's just a few things you're going to want to think about once you begin your preparation. So first, and I've mentioned this before, you're going to want to decide if you're going to ship your furniture, if you are going to put your furniture in storage, or if you are going to sell everything. Because Johannesburg is so far on the other side of the planet, it would have been a small fortune for us to ship our things from Philadelphia to Johannesburg. And it would have taken at least 3 months for us to receive everything. So it's just more cost effective for us to sell everything and just replace the furniture once we arrived in South Africa. And that's actually worked out very well for us because we've been able to find some really cool pieces online through Facebook Marketplace. And we've also been able to have some furniture made, which is very cool and a luxury we did not have in the States. So that worked out well for us. We also moved to a home that was partially furnished. So we didn't have to purchase too many items once we got here. So that was really nice. So yes, you're going to want to think about, if you're going to sell, if you're going to put in storage, or if you're going to ship. Next, you're going to want to think about setting up your utilities. We also lucked out, and I don't know if this is just common for South Africa, but the homeowners that we're renting from, they actually pay the utilities. So they just roll that in, whatever our usage is, into our monthly rent. So that thankfully was not anything that we had to deal with in regards to opening up accounts once we arrived. So yeah, so you're going to want to think about the process of having utilities turned on and what that's going to look like. Next, you're going to want to think about if you're bringing your pet. That's kind of a biggie. Rich and I we had known that we were going to bring our dog Tocket, and I had done extensive research on the process, and it didn't seem. I mean, it was pretty straightforward. What we did not consider, oddly enough, is the anxiety that our dog Tocket has. And I think the older he got, the worse it had gotten. And because the flight to Johannesburg is about 18 hours, we knew that there was no way that his anxiety would allow him to make the journey. And we also found out that you're not allowed to give your pets medication. Which I hadn't realized. And I'd also found out that if TSA had suspected that your dog had been or pet had been on any sort of medication, they wouldn't allow you to board, would allow the dog or pet to board. So sadly, we were not able to bring Tocket, but luckily, we were able to find a home for him. And Rich has been in contact with um, his new owners, and they'll send him updates and photos. So that was actually really helpful, but it was actually very upsetting. So yes, you're definitely going to want to think about the type of pet you have, and if they're up for the journey, depending on where you're moving to, and what that process is going to look like. You're also going to want to think about once you arrive, if you will rent or lease a vehicle. Rich and I decided to lease a car, and that process was pretty easy. I, being the OCD person, I wanted to have a lot of these things set up prior to us arriving, just because I wanted us to be able to hit the ground running and living. I wanted us to start living from the moment we arrived, and didn't have to worry about anything because everything was set up. So I had tried to arrange for a lease from the States, but that did not work out. But, once we got here, it took about a couple weeks for us to obtain a car. So, yes, you're going to want to think about whether or not you'll be leasing or renting. Some people even opt to ship their vehicle and just rent once we got here and probably purchase later on down the road. So, yeah, so that's something you're going to think about. Medical insurance, medical aid is what it's called here in South Africa. You're going to want to think about if it's not, assuming it's not attached to your employment, you're going to want to think about what that process looks like. And in South Africa, the medical coverage is actually very, very, very good, and it's also very affordable. They kind of have it broken up into tiers. And even with the mid-tier range, we have really, really good coverage. So I'll make a video about that later on down the road when I do comparisons between the States and South Africa. But yes, you're going to want to think about your medical coverage. You're also going to want to um, I should have said this at the beginning, but hopefully you're going to make connections with other expats or locals that can give you referrals, because that's definitely going to be helpful when you are choosing a pediatrician, a dentist, etc. Thankfully, I'm a part of a few Facebook groups of expats that have moved from the States to South Africa. So they've been really helpful in that regard as far as referring, Johannesburg specifically, as far as referring referrals. So, yeah, so these are just a few things that you're going to want to think about prior to, when you're doing logistics of moving abroad. And I forgot banking. You're definitely going to want to look into the banking situation for where you're moving if you decide to open up a bank account. I think a lot of people still maintain their banks in the States and then just open up a bank account to the country that they're moving to, or at least that's what Rich and I have done. Opening up a bank account was probably, out of all the frustrating things, and there's only been a few about moving to Johannesburg. Opening up a bank account was very exhausting, and we'd actually tried to do it from the States, and that was even more frustrating. So, yeah, so opening up a bank account is also something you're going to want to think about and you know figure out what that process looks like and the amount of time that it takes, and so on and so forth. So, yeah, so these are just a few things. Hopefully, they have been helpful. If you have any questions, comments, please leave them in the comment section, and I will definitely respond. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.